U.S. Navy sailors spend their time for months in the middle of the sea on a ship, but there are times when they have to go into the water. This is because they need to prepare for an emergency or take a relaxing swim. Because there are sharks swimming there, there are also many sailors who do not participate in this because they consider it too dangerous. The U.S. Navy has special methods to make sure that their crew members are safe in the middle of the sea. So what happens when sharks swim too close to a U.S. aircraft carrier? When sailors are allowed to take a dive and jump off the ship, in naval terminology, it's called a swim call. As soon as the ship's commanding officer checks the sea and gives the go-ahead, sailors jump off a lowered hangar bay elevator into the sea. Although relaxing swim calls pose quite a risk to an aircraft carrier, seeing as all of the ship's operations are put on hold during this process, anything can go wrong. From an enemy ship to a shark attack, sharks rarely come into contact with aircraft carriers as these ships operate far out to sea and are not typically found in the areas where sharks are abundant. However, if a shark were to swim too close to an aircraft carrier, there are a few different potential outcomes. First, if the shark were to approach the aircraft carrier more closely, the crew would likely use non-lethal deterrents to discourage the shark from coming any closer. These could include loud noises such as the sound of an air horn or ship's whistle, or flashes of light such as from a spotlight or a laser pointer. These deterrents are designed to startle the shark and make it uncomfortable, causing it to swim away from the aircraft carrier. Second, the shark would likely be frightened by the massive size of the aircraft carrier and the noise and activity of the ship's crew. Sharks are generally not aggressive towards humans and will avoid confrontations if possible. In this case, the shark would likely swim away from the aircraft carrier without causing any problems. Finally, if the shark were to persist in approaching the aircraft carrier, the crew may need to take more drastic measures to protect the ship and its personnel. This could involve using a specialized shark control device, such as a shark net or an electronic shark deterrent, to prevent the shark from coming into contact with the ship. In extreme cases, the crew may also have to use force to defend the ship and its personnel from a shark attack. However, these measures are rarely necessary as sharks are not typically aggressive towards humans and will avoid confrontations if possible. There have been instances whereby sharks have been found lurking too close to a U.S. Navy carrier. This birthed the need for a group of sailors to look out for their fellow crew members. These sailors on the lookout sacrifice their opportunity to dive into the ocean to ensure there are no casualties during the swim call. They are armed with guns to take down sharks or any other creature spotted in the sea. In 2020, a shark was seen coming as close as 30 feet to Coast Guard members swimming in the Pacific Ocean. The sea monster, which was about 6 to 8 feet long, was deterred by shots fired by a maritime enforcement officer on the Coast Guard cutter Kimball, who was on the lookout. The numerous shots proved effective in gaining the shark's attention long enough for the 40 or so sailors in the water to be rescued. In the occurrence of a situation whereby someone gets bitten by a shark, the vessel will contact a medevac helicopter to transport the victim to the closest hospital. 4 years ago, there was a need to call a medevac helicopter to a San Francisco Coast Guard boat. The sailors expertly elevated a fellow sailor that was bitten by a shark, and the victim was moved to the nearest hospital, which was at Stanford University Medical Center. Sailors of the U.S. Navy are exposed to several risks while deployed at sea, although the walls of their war vessels do a good job of protecting crew members from external elements. These courageous soldiers are still prone to threats on the ship. Thanks for staying tuned. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you don't want to miss out on future updates, hit the notification icon right on your screen. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.